Jerry and Elizabeth spent some time chatting so that Elizabeth knows Jerry Leener's story. Now remember, Jerry didn't leave accounting in order to become an EMT. When he left, his future was like a blank sheet of paper, and now we see Elizabeth standing in front of a flip chart and a blank sheet of paper. Show us how you have mapped Jerry's process of moving from accountant to volunteer EMT.
So the first thing Jerry did was he said, I want a change. He said, I don't want to miss my children's baseball games anymore. The second thing he did, he got help. He worked with someone who brought a structure and a process to help him look at what were some of his criteria. And you heard him mention he didn't want to wear a tie. He wanted to be involved with his community. And so from there, he said, well, what might be some options?
I see a lot of lists. He's making a lot of lists.
And he made a lot of lists. He was just brainstorming and saying, well, what might it be? Then he began exploring.
Well, what were some of those options that he was thinking about exploring?
Well, he talked about being a chaplain. He talked about being a professor. He knew that he wanted to be engaged with people in a way that would speak to him and let him give more than he had before. So what he did was he said, next. He stayed open to possibilities. And he stayed open to ideas that had never even made the list up here on his options. And then he said, when the man said, what about EMT?
Yeah, when the battalion chief
when
happened to be in the neighborhood.
happened to be in the neighborhood. So he stayed open. And then the next thing he did was he chose. And once he chose, it wasn't all that easy. He struggled. He said he got kicked out, and then he flunked out.
He quit twice.
He quit twice.
Because he didn't appreciate how hard it was to learn. He's had textbooks.
That's right.
And when was the last time he had to learn stuff from a textbook?
And so he went back to when he had been successful as a student at the University of Minnesota. And he even wrote the university and had them send book covers and notebooks so that he could sort of call upon that sense of, I know how to do this. So he got creative.
That was creative.
Then he had to become a beginner. And for most of us at our stage in life, we are really good at a lot of things. And so we have to be willing to be a beginner in something else. So that was a key part of his finding his place.
He is twice as old as the typical member of the firehouse.
Exactly.
That's a fact.